I can tell you that there are a lot of Canadian-led trials, both nationally and internationally, that have absolutely led the world stage in the last few years. And results in the last, say 3 or 4 years in breast cancer, lung cancer, brain cancer, I'm telling you, are making changes in clinical practice. These are world-leading trials, and probably none of them was more spectacular than the one back in 2003, which was the so-called letrozole trial, and it was published in the very prestigious New England Journal of Medicine. This was a trial for postmenopausal women who had been treated with a drug called tamoxifen, which was the sort of standard treatment. But we knew that tamoxifen was only good for about 5 years, and then after that the side effects started to become worse than the treatment. And we had nothing to offer these women. Letrozole, like tamoxifen, is an estrogen inhibitor, but a whole different mechanism. Now, letrozole was now being used for 5 years, and the idea was to follow up these women for the full 5 years, and hopefully we'd see a reduction in the recurrence of breast cancer. Well, in fact, the trial was stopped less than halfway through because the interim results were so powerful that it actually became unethical to let the women who were not getting letrozole continue on that trial, and they needed to take them off and give them the opportunity to talk to their oncologist because maybe they really should be thinking about letrozole. And the reason was that we were seeing close to a 50% reduction in the recurrence of breast cancer. I mean, that's the kind of home run that you just don't hit very often. This was huge. And the letrozole trial has led now to another one, which is the same concept. It's another one of these class of compounds called an aromatase inhibitor. It's an estrogen inhibitor. But this is now actually a chemoprevention trial. So this is saying, well, if letrozole, or a compound like letrozole, could actually stop the recurrence of breast cancer, maybe one of these compounds could stop the occurrence of breast cancer in the first place. Now, obviously, you're not going to just take well women off the street. These are women who would be at very high risk in the first place. But I'm expecting that after a few years, we will have very dramatic results of this and find out that the incidence of breast cancer in these high-risk women will be very, very dramatically reduced compared to those who aren't on this regimen. So what's tomorrow going to bring? We're going to have continually increasing knowledge. Survival rates are going to continue to improve significantly. There is not a doubt in my mind that the vision of the CCS will be realized in creating a world where no Canadian fears cancer. The question, an awful lot of the research to make that all happen is about selectivity. There's a great myth out there. There's a myth out there that it's hard to kill cancer cells. It's not hard to kill cancer cells. It's very easy to kill cancer cells. What's hard is to kill only cancer cells. So the key is finding a characteristic that is unique to cancer cells, not a characteristic that's still shared with a whole bunch of other things. And it's about going from where we were in the past, about hitting the broadside of that barn door, to actually going in and saying we're going to pick the lock. And more and more and more what we're doing is we're creating a generation of researchers who are lock pickers. I'm sure they wouldn't like to hear me characterize them that way, but that's what we're doing. And this greater selectivity means we'll have better treatments, fewer side effects, and a much better quality of life during treatment and after treatment.